So you've heard about vision boards, you've seen people make them, maybe you've made them in the past. What is a vision board? Why does it matter? Why is this something that you want to do? And do they really work? Well, first and foremost, I'll get to the end. They do work if you do them the right way. A vision board is literally a visual representation of the things that we want to accomplish, the person we want to be, the things we want and need to do, and then the life that we want to have. The reason vision boards are so impactful, and we recommend them to all of our coaching clients, is because our minds tend to think in images. You know, when we say a word like ice cream, you probably think of a feeling. Maybe you picture yourself as a kid at the beach, or picture a big bowl of a certain flavor of ice cream. You probably don't think of the letters ICECREAM, right? Our minds, they think in pictures. And so creating a vision board actually taps into that part of our brains that motivates us. You've probably heard about the power of visualization. There have been examples of successful teams that have won championships and successful people in business who harness the power of visualizing what they want to accomplish before it actually becomes a reality. There's power in establishing in our subconscious mind a picture of what we're trying to create. The reality is that that's just how the mind works. Well, you want to make sure that you're doing a vision board the right way, the way that's actually going to trigger your subconscious mind to go to work. So the first thing you want to do when you're creating a vision board is you want to first map out on paper what it is that you're wanting before you put that on a poster board. First and foremost, you want to establish who you want to become. A lot of times when people have created vision boards, they've cut out a bunch of pictures of boats and cars and vacations, a bunch of things that they want to have, and they get a glue stick and stick them to a poster board. And those things are nice. Those things are great. They can be motivating in the short term. The challenge is that when we're thinking about the things we want to have, at some point when we're having a hard day, or we've run into an obstacle, or we feel ourselves taking a couple steps back toward that goal, that car or that boat or that house or that vacation might not be all that motivating. Think about the people who inspire you the most, the people that you look up to, that you want to be like, that you would want to emulate. Think about the characteristics that they embody, and then put that on paper. Those are the character traits of the person you want to become. That's what you want to focus on first and foremost. So think about who you want to be first. Then you want to think about the things that you want to do. What are the experiences that you want to engage in? What are the things that you need to do to be the type of person that you say you want to be? And then finally, what are those things you want to have? Because what we have found is if we're being the person we say we want to be, and we're doing things in alignment with that type of person, the haves are going to come. You're going to have more than you could ever imagine. So once you've established who you want to be, what you want and need to do, and what you want to have, now you can go to work creating the visual representation of be, do, and have. Now you can go the traditional route and get a bunch of magazines and sit down and cut out pictures of things that you want. You could, go and search online for images that represent those things. But the challenge is to first try to find visual imagery that represents the type of person I want to be. I'll give you an example. When I think of the people that I most admire in the world, one of the first people I always think of is Nelson Mandela. Someone who was inspirational, someone who overcame immense obstacles, who in spite of all the circumstances around him, rose above them and was able to lead a nation. So when I'm putting together a vision board, I can find visual representations of someone who's inspiring, someone who overcomes obstacles and challenges. Or you can do what I do, which is typically just find a picture of Nelson Mandela and put it on my vision board. The point is this, though, is every time I look at that picture, it reminds me of those character traits that I want to be more like. You can also cut out phrases or words that inspire you. The point is that you want to create a visual representation that's going to motivate you and inspire you every single time that you look at it. When you see your vision board, does it light a fire under you? If it doesn't, go back to the drawing board and find different imagery that is going to motivate who you want to be, what you need to do, and what you want to have. Now, I like to do traditional vision boards where I get poster boards and I cut out pictures and glue them to the vision board. Some people like to do digital vision boards. Whichever way works best for you. The most important thing is that it motivates you, it inspires you, And it's something that you can look at and be reminded of every single day. For me, I like to put my vision board up in my office. I create a new vision board about every year, year and a half when I find the old one is getting a little bit stale. Like I've kind of memorized the whole picture in my mind. Whenever I find myself where I'm not getting as motivated by it, that's when I know it's time to create a new one. I like to have my vision boards up in my office, but I also always have a vision board, a picture of my vision board on my phone. It's the wallpaper to my cell phone. So no matter where I am, no matter where I'm going, I can always have that visual reminder, that quick look that reminds me who I want to be, what I'm doing, and what I want to have. One thing I always say is be careful what you put on your vision board because you just might achieve it. One of my personal favorite examples is a vision board I created when I first started my career as a coach. And I had always wanted to be bi-coastal. I grew up in Southern California and I had this dream of living in New York. It was probably all the movies and TV shows I watched growing up. But I said, one day I'm gonna be bi-coastal. And so just on a whim, I cut out a picture of the New York skyline and stuck it on my vision board. You know, I had things like pasting my face on the cover of Time magazine and being $1 million producer and being a leader and making a difference and changing lives. And about a year and a half later, that picture I'd put on my vision board on a whim became my reality. And the same can be true for you. The same is true for so many of our clients. So establish what you want to be, what you want to do, and what you want to have. Create a visual representation of it to get your subconscious mind to go to work. And then be careful because whatever you put on there, it just might become your reality.